Brandon here. Thanks for tuning in. We're coming to you live today from Lake Norman, North Carolina. We got a very special guest with us, Greg Biffle.
How are you?
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Perfect day out here on the lake.
Beautiful
Good way
day.
to kick off the weekend.
Absolutely.
Memorial Day weekend. First off, I know a lot of fans missing you in the car this year, but any plans to return, and kind of what have you been up to so far?
Yeah, you know, I've talked to some different teams about returning, and you know, most recently the 43 team, and they had lots of opportunities for other guys, and I felt like I was very blessed they called me and talked to me about that opportunity. But I've got some things going. I got a few things in the works, so right now I thought it was best that I didn't return for a short amount of time and looking at a longer deal. So we'll see what happens. I wouldn't say I won't ever be back in the car, but I'd like to be at the track and seeing all the guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know you spent a long time in the Cup Series with Roush. You came up through the trucks, Xfinity, but where, I know you're at Washington, everybody knows you're from there, but where'd you really get your start in racing, and like what age?
Yeah, really, I started a lot later than a lot of the guys. The guys started quarter midgets, go-karts, and all those things. So I didn't start till I was really 16. And then just started local Friday, Saturday night short tracks, little pavement oval. So my dad and I built, believe it or not, my very first car was a Ford Torino, 74 Ford Torino, is a bomber car, whatever you want to call it. So that's how I got my start, and just started local Friday night asphalt, quarter mile stuff, and just kept doing it from there. And I got an opportunity to run some TV races in Tucson, Arizona, sort of that Toyota showdown. It was called Tucson Winter Heat Series, and that's where Dale Earnhardt hired Ron Hornaday from. Kevin Harvick kind of came out of that, and myself. So it was a good little series that ran in the November through January when nothing's going on. So it was a lot of fun.
Cool. One of the questions we had somebody sent in was from Mara Thomas, and she wants to know how you're enjoying doing your NASCAR America on TV right now.
Yeah, I'm loving that show. I love radio and TV. I love our sport. I love talking about it. So it gives me an opportunity to dissect the races and what guys are doing and the rules and the segments and all those things. So I really enjoy it. I'm working with a great group of guys, Steve Letard, Jeff Burton, Kyle Petty, all those guys. So it's Parker Kligerman up there in Connecticut. So it's a lot of fun. I'm having fun doing that. I still get to talk about it. I still get to see all the stuff, and I'm really enjoying it.
Like we said, it's Memorial Day weekend. It's a good weekend. People are getting out of school, going on vacations, but it's also the biggest race weekend of the year.
Yep.
You got Monaco, Indy, and then the 600 here in Charlotte. You've drove it plenty of times.
Plenty of times.
I know it's a fun race, but what's the challenge of it other than?
I think the challenge of a 600-mile race is, before, like say in the old days, right, 8-10 years ago, you weren't running 110% every single lap. Today, these cars, you've got to run them wide open, 100%. And the challenge is for, the team, the engine department, all those guys to make sure these cars stay together, for 600 miles. The transition from, late afternoon to evening, that, presents a lot of challenges, especially Charlotte. Charlotte's one of the most difficult tracks to predict what it does when it cools off. So, it's keeping that adjustability in the car, staying on the lead lap, till nighttime comes, making those adjustments on the car, and then that pit strategy. I've been leading that thing a few times with not very far to go, and the most recent one I can remember is the 48 car blew up.
Yep.
With like 3 laps to go, and then I ran out of gas, and Junior ran out of gas, and Kevin ended up winning that.
Yep.
So it was anything can happen. You race 600 miles, and all of a sudden all this stuff happens.
You have a pick for this weekend, or?
I really don't. It's hard to predict these races because you've got about 10 guys that are just solid teams that can win on the drop of a hat. And really, you have about 20 guys that are capable of winning this kind of race because it's all about track position. It's all about how you tune your car, who's good in the early and late. But, I've got my kind of 5 or 6 favorites, which everybody sort of does. But you know what? There's 20 guys that can win this race this weekend. And, Martin Truex was really fast here last year. And we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Last question. This year or this week, one of the big stories was the schedule came out for next year. For the first time in a long time, there was actually some pretty big changes.
Yeah.
One of them being Charlotte. The fall race is now going to be called the Roval, where they're going to run the oval track as well as the infield road course. How do you think that's going to play out?
I think it's going to be unbelievable. And never has NASCAR ever raced on a Roval type of racetrack. So they've raced road courses, and when the fans say, "Hey, we want to see a road course in the Chase," never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we've gone to that's really a non-traditional road course, right? You could have picked 100 road courses to race at, but I think it's great. I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be new. There's going to be stuff happen nobody expected. That's what makes racing exciting. And I'm a firm believer. I've been saying it for a long time. These cars, we have so much more capability. I don't know if they belong on a dirt track, but these types of things, street races, I'm still going to be the guy to say we got to see these cars street racing in LA, New York, Seattle. I just believe that is the next step, and I've been saying it for a long time. And this racetrack at Charlotte will prove that these cars are capable of racing on a course like that and put on a show.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it.
I am too.
Well, I appreciate you spending some time with us today. Everybody have a good, happy, safe Memorial Day weekend. Should be some fun racing on Sunday, and be sure to check out All Things Automotive. We're going to have updates throughout the summer and throughout the year. Thanks.